Ken Shootie, formerly of Candiria and Fuel, but above all else, a high-class drummer, just amazing. And also great with communication and philosophies. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
It's great to have you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I've had the pleasure of hanging with you quite a few times over the past years.
Yeah.
Now I finally got you in front of my cameras. Wanted to grab you while I'm in town.
Sure.
We're looking to inspire and encourage young musicians today.
Cool.
At what point in life did music become a passion instead of just pop culture for you, and what influenced that?
4 years old. It was my mother and father. They loved music. They grew up on it themselves. My dad fiddled with instruments. He could play songs. My mom was artistic in a visual way, but dancing, singing along, it was like music all day. Basically, I was lucky in that regard that I grew up with it fully exposed to me. So the opportunity to understand the passion I had inside me for it happened almost immediately.
Right.
Sure.
Did your parents encourage you as a musician?
Oh yeah. I would say that it's an important thing to realize that parents aren't supposed to be in our lives to make us believe in the fact that we could do anything. It's really the encouragement. You know, my parents didn't pressure me to say, oh, you know, it's like, look how much he loves music. Let's get him an instrument. You know, my dad, like I said, he played ukulele, he played a little banjo. So I had music playing, I had instruments getting played. And that was just something that it resonated in me. It was never forced upon me, though. I didn't start playing drums till I was 13. I didn't play an instrument. I played baseball, and I tried to get better and better and better every year. I don't want to stray too far from the parental thing. One thing that kids have to understand is that if you're in a situation where your parents are very encouraging of you, hopefully they're encouraging you in a way that you are allowed to explore your desires. Because I think as a child, what I've learned from my children is that passion is general. They'll find specific niches that they gravitate to more often, but ultimately, passion is for life right now. I think that's how we become a more successful adult and stay creative and aiming for greatness, is that we keep that mindset, a general passion for life itself. Every experience is going to benefit my purpose, you know, and pulling it all in to help it become something greater each day, like a snowball effect of positivity and learning. When you're living life this way, and you're actually experiencing life around you, and you cross over from that 8, 9, 10-year-old range into the preteens and teen years, don't forget about this. Because I didn't have to be confronted at the age of 11 and 12 with the cell phone. And if we can make it through that by having a really strong focus on something purposeful in our youth, then the challenges of our teenage years don't really battle us. We don't worry about peer pressure. It's like when you keep to yourself and strive for something great, you stand out more because you're not worried about fitting in.
What would you say to a child who does not have the musician support or encouragement from their parents?
What's really important is that as a child, we just try to find some kind of adult. Doesn't have to be exactly your mom and dad, because maybe that experience doesn't work in your equation. But seek out at least, you know, if it's a teacher or a coach or maybe an aunt or an uncle, somebody that you just seems to inspire you. Stay close to them then. There's a real big difference in a lifestyle, a career, and a job. Drumming is your lifestyle and your career. So until you can make drumming your job, get a job. Because a lifestyle and a career doesn't involve money. That involves your investment of time, passion, and commitment, and a desire to excel to the areas of greatness you feel you should. The job is what gets you money.
Ken, do you play by ear, by theory, or the combination? How much academic knowledge is needed to survive as a professional drummer as opposed to just jamming, in your opinion?
That depends on where you want to go with your drumming. If you are a rock drummer, pop, rock, you know, general commercial music, that kind of radio, whatever you want to call it, there's not as much emphasis. Obviously, you have to develop a formula for understanding arrangement and understanding how to break down songs and how to be sensitive to song arrangement. But if you want to get gigs like doing like weddings, doing parties, doing corporate work, just be able to like pick up a gig and jump in on an occasion, then learn your real book, learn all the standards, and learn a lot of songs so that you can be like available for that. You want to be in a band, then you don't have to learn any of that. That goes back to what I was saying. You can just be a part of your band and just learn what you need to learn to make you and your band great.
Help me envision a more meaningful relationship with the drums besides what the average consumer or music listener might see.
Two things. Purpose and service. If you're playing for yourself, that's different. But if you make a decision, say, I want to make music with others and give it off to an audience, you are now a service person. So you must be humble and selfless and understand that all the skills you're acquiring are for the sake of others. You benefit in your own way because you love doing it. So you love getting better at what you do, but ultimately what you're really doing is delivering the mail. My dad, he worked, his main job was, working on the Metropolitan Transit Authority. He didn't view it as just a job. That's what it was, and he put his all into his service. He knew that thousands upon thousands of people a day were depending on him to make sure the signals worked right. Because if not, it could cause a derailment. It could cause an accident. It could cause delays. It could cause a whole bunch of bad things that mess with other people's lives. So service combined, I guess, with courtesy. We want to build courtesy into our children. The respect and desire to make sure the people you're interacting with are not being disrespected, that you're doing right by them. You're servicing them based on your purpose. If your purpose is a drummer and you take it on commercially, then that is your purpose, to find your skills, build them, maintain them, and then execute them, perform them for the audience which you are a service for. Purpose and service.
You're awesome, dude.
You're awesome.
Thanks for your time, man.
Thank you, bro.
Nothing.
Hello? I'll be home in 5 minutes. Oh, this isn't a phone.
If you love to walk, then, don't be a drummer because you got to sit. But the standing out from the pack, that whole concept, that's not original.
Sure.
That's just the person who trained harder to get good at what everybody else is trying to do lazy. And if a jazz drummer is going to say, you're a punk rock drummer, what do you know? And you say, well, I know punk rock. What do you know about punk rock? Nothing, it stinks. Why does it stink? These are the feuds that have been going on forever.
Sure.
And I think that's what gets in the way of musicians trying to understand, what does it take to be a professional? Mm-hmm. It takes your love for what you love. If you love punk rock, keep going.